2 Abby's, 2 Mel's, and a baby. Guys, I am shook. I am so like shook after watching this episode that I was like, we have to go live and talk about it right now because I just can't wait. You know, it's probably wildest episode of Charmed that we have gotten thus far. I was literally like, when we got that big reveal at the end. So, you know, we're going to dive on into it. Let's talk about it. If you're new to my channel, I talk about Charmed every week. And this is episode 14. We are making it through this season, season 3. And I would say that there's kind of 3 main storylines going on in this episode. We have the Perfecti versus the Charmed ones. You know, we know last episode that the Perfecti, they're the ones that have gotten rid of some of the past Charmed ones, you know, because they deem them chaotic and, you know, put them in the Tomb of Chaos. So I'm like thinking, does that mean that there could be Charmed ones in the Tomb of Chaos? Regardless, you know, the Perfecti, anything that they deem chaotic, they're thrown in the Tomb of Chaos, and clearly they feel the Charmed ones are a threat now. That's their plan. And we also have Harry in this episode, you know, working with Celeste to become mortal, to get rid of his powers. They're kind of doing a little bit of an experimentation in order to do that, and it definitely has some drastic effects on Harry, but effects that I think ultimately are right. You know, Harry's kind of like very anxious this episode. He's feeling like there's something wrong, and, you know, sometimes you just got to listen to those instincts because clearly something was wrong. All of this was a trick by the Perfecti, who, you know, made the Charmed ones think that if they got a golem work them, that they would be able to stop Perfecti. Instead, really, they're the Perfecti are the ones that would be able to control the golem with their bloodstone. There was just so much happening in this episode. I like can't even handle it. But so one of the things that I thought was fun was that we got to have Abigail come back in sort of a different way. We did another kind of swap, if you will, like a Freaky Friday, where they do a glamour on Maggie to make her look like Abigail so that she can go and ask Fenric the Vile for this code so that they can make a golem and quote unquote defeat the Perfecti. And you know, I think Abigail, you know, Poppy Drayton did an incredible job portraying Maggie, or, you know, Maggie playing Abigail. I thought it was spot on. It was fun to see her with an American accent. I was kind of like, oh, okay. And, you know, we're getting to, you know, we learn a little bit more about golems and the fact that, you know, demons and witches need to cooperate in order to control that magic. And really it's, you know, this bloodstone, whoever's in charge of that is the one that is in charge of the, you know, the golem. And I think what we see in this episode is that the Charmed ones, you know, they always think outside the box, and see that, they've always kind of thought outside the box, and that they do that in this episode as well in order to kind of out-trick the Perfecti who are trying to trick them. And, you know, it works, and the Perfecti are the ones that get sucked back into the Tomb of Chaos, thankfully, because honestly, they're the ones that are chaotic. The fact that they have no, like, real humanity, the fact that they are not able to, like, kind of differentiate other things than just, like, you know, oh, this is chaotic, you know, that must mean that they're bad. Like, instead of kind of like looking at it from a human angle, you know, I think that makes sense that the Perfecti get, you know, like back to the Tomb of Chaos. I think also they do hint that there is more danger coming, that the Perfecti might be needed, you know, to help the Charmed ones. And the Charmed ones are like, nah, we're gonna handle this on our own. And that leads us to the big storyline of this episode that, like, oh my gosh, shook me to my core, was around Mel, which I'm really glad to see because, you know, I think that sometimes Mel has a little bit of a side plot that, like, there's not really as much going on for her all the time. So the fact that, like, she has the most shocking, like, insane, you know, reveal in this episode was so cool. So we basically have Mel being, attacked in a way by the Perfecti, and they put her in this magically induced coma to try to counteract that. And in that coma, she ends up meeting her future self, who teaches her that, or who lets her know that not only is she going to get her time magic abilities back, her time power back, but that she is her from the future, and that she needs her to do something for her. And we get this big reveal that Mel is going to be carrying her own future child to keep it safe. And I was like, oh my gosh, the fact that they have written in Melonie Diaz is really pregnant into this story. I don't even know how to like comprehend that right now. I'm like just so like, I'm so excited that Mel's gonna have this really big storyline now. I'm excited like about this little baby that's coming. Who's the, significant other of this baby? Like where's it coming from? I'm so excited to learn more. I think that this is not something that I expected them to do in this show at all. I mean, I know they did it in the original Charmed, but I'm just, the fact that they wrote in Melonie Diaz's pregnancy, I'm shocked. I'm excited. I was literally like, I need to talk about this right now. And I know we typically do live streams on Saturdays or sometimes Mondays, but I'm actually going to be away. So maybe it's for the best that we're talking about it now. But yeah, wow. I just don't even know how to comprehend what we have just seen. I'm so excited. And I really think that this is going to be just something refreshing and different to add to this new series. And also, like, what are they keeping this baby safe from? Like, that's adding like a whole new thing, which I'm glad to see that, because I did think it was going to be, I had a feeling that this episode they were going to defeat the Perfecti pretty quickly. So to see that there's like a bigger bad or like a bigger thing that they need to defeat later on, I think it's going to be cool, especially if it relates back to this, this baby from the future. So yeah, I'm so excited. Anyway, some other things that I really enjoyed about this episode, like I said, the fact that we are getting to learn that Mel is going to get her time powers back. I know that's something so many people have been excited about. The fact that we got to see future Mel, very, very awesome. I also, like that we got Abigail in this, Poppy Drayton really try out like this new, just try out playing Maggie, and I thought that they did a really good job with that. And I also loved how they were able to use Maggie's powers in a really interesting way, and not even just her powers, but also her psychology background. So like, especially when she's with Fenric, there's kind of things that she talked about that I was like, oh yeah, really feels like, Maggie using her psychology classes to just kind of like mess with Fenric. And also the fact that she was able to use her power of being an empath and of being able to influence people's feelings and emotions to make Fenric feel like he got his powers back. That was so smart. I just really thought that was really cool. And I think also I liked the way that they handled Harry getting this, kind of being infused with this potion that we don't really know what it's going to do to him to try to make him mortal. And the fact that he was so anxious, and, the fact that he was able to kind of use that anxiety to show that there really was something amiss, and that he wasn't, mistaken. The fact that they were able to kind of show that in like a light of like helping you, I thought that was really useful. And, to see his connection with Maggie and how she kind of like was talking to him more about like anxiety and psychology, I really liked that. And of course, we got to see a golem in this episode, which I thought was really cool to learn about how like they're one of the strongest creatures that can't really be affected by by magic or things like that, because they require kind of like that gray neutrality of like demons and witches working together, which I think we've seen in past seasons of Charmed, that kind of gray area of like magic is magic, but whoever uses it and whoever wields it, that it's good or bad, but magic itself is like a neutral. So I thought that was really interesting. And just, I love seeing, all the different magical creatures and things that come into play. So like to see a golem, I was like, that's really fun. Yeah, so this episode was insane. I think maybe one of my favorites, maybe my favorite of the season, because it really was the one that made me be like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about this right now. Like, this is the wildest thing I've ever seen. And like, Mel's gonna be a mom. Like Melonie Diaz and Melanie Vera are gonna be moms, which is really cool. I can't wait to see, what that's gonna be like. How long is she to, be pregnant on the show? I'm not sure. Maybe a season 4 will have her, have this baby. Or maybe they'll take the baby back to the future and we won't even really get to see. I'm like, what are they going to do? And, we get to see Macy and Maggie be aunts. Like, I just think that there's a lot of excitement, in my mind, at least, around this plot point. Wow. Yeah. 2 Abbies, 2 Mels, magic, a little baby. This is really taking it to a different level, which I am excited about. Anyone who has seen the episode yet, I would love to hear your thoughts. I see a couple of comments that the episode hasn't come out for some people yet. I guess maybe it's a different time zone, but yeah, I was the first able to catch the episode live in real time in a while, so that's why I was like, let's talk about this, because it is just, there's so much going on. And it's just like, this is renewing my excitement for the season, and I'm excited to see what's happening, what's gonna happen next. Derek says, aren't they gonna send the baby back to the future afterwards? Oh, who knows? Maybe it needs to hide out in the past. I mean, I would think eventually it needs to go back, but like, would it go back as a baby? Maybe as like a little bit of an older kid? I don't know. I literally have no idea now. This is like throwing a huge wrench into things. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think that we'll see Mel have this baby? Do you think that, maybe she's just holding it for now, and like once she's done being pregnant in real life, they'll just kind of like get rid of that storyline? I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm excited. So yeah. But, I think that this was one of the top episodes for me in terms of like favorites of, across the series. It was, Mel's having a baby, guys. Mel and Mel are going to be moms. I'm shook. Like literally when I finished this episode, my jaw just like dropped when they did that reveal. And then it looks like, going into the next week's episode, perfect timing. Perfect timing from Joe, who loved it, loved Poppy's acting. She never disappoints. What did I think of the preview for next episode? It looks like next episode they are going into the future. I love time travel episodes. So, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see that. It looks like, they're in kind of like a dystopian future where there's some kind of war or something going on. Maybe that's the future that we're saving Mel's baby from, and there's a moment in the teaser where Abigail is like, oh, Maggie, you're alive, but like I killed you. And I'm like, oh gosh, why did she kill her? Maybe it was an accident or like something. But, I'm glad that we're still seeing Poppy Drayton in these episodes, because they made it seem like last week that she was kind of gone. But maybe their way of keeping her in is like, okay, we have a glamour, we have the future, and it's not necessarily real-time Abby. Although we did see her also on a FaceTime in this episode. So hopefully Jordan comes back soon, too. So this is the first episode without him since he's announced that he's, going off to take a break from the Charmed ones. Let's see. Derek says, I think she's going to have the baby in the season finale since the new season won't start till like January. Yeah, that is very possible. I wonder what they're going to do with that. I'd love to hear you guys' theories of like, what's going to go on with this baby? Like, will they actually like have the baby and get to hang out with it? And like, will it have powers? And what powers will it have? Oh my gosh. I cannot wait. And Jesus says, yes, Mel is going to have her time powers. Yep, they are coming back. That's something I know so many people have been really, really wanting to see. So I'm glad that they're coming back. And the fact that we get to see a future Mel, like, that's awesome. That is awesome. Fing says, Ruby is giving me sus vibes. Why? Why is she giving you sus vibes? I felt like she was, helping out in this episode, watching over Mel. But, maybe there's something going on there. Or maybe her and Ruby end up having the kid, like, down the line. Like, that would be really cool. Maybe that's, like, their future child. I don't know. But, yeah, this was just a really fun episode. It renewed my enthusiasm and energy for the show. I just went into a place that I was not expecting. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person whose jaw was just like, what? When they revealed Mel pregnant, I was like, wow. It's good stuff. This is what I've been waiting for, things that are going to, like, shock us, surprise us, take us in a whole new direction that we're just, like, not expecting, and just feel like, exciting. Like, this is now a really, really big storyline for Mel, which I'm excited about because, like I said, she hasn't really had, like, a major storyline in the last, like, season or two. So, all right. Well, guys, this has been fun. Thank you so much for joining me. For anyone who might have missed the stream, feel free to comment down below, and we will talk more about this episode because I'm dying over it. I'm freaking out. It was so good, and I'm just so shocked. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to check out some of my other videos. I also recently just posted High School Musical, the series review for the most recent episode. If you haven't checked that out yet, I got Love Victor reviews up, Sweet Tooth. Oh my gosh, so many things are out, and I hope you guys check them out. And of course, I'll catch you next week for the next episode of Charmed. All right, thanks guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.